Well, as you can see, this is going to be a different type of video today. This is a video I've been wanting to put together for quite some time. I hope it goes smoothly. And there's going to be quite a bit of talking in this video, but at the same time, I encourage you to listen through it if you are a metal detectorist, because the forms that I use on permissions come in very handy. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have forms and don't carry forms in their vehicle. But with that being said, I have created forms because I and the channel, we get quite a lot of permissions, and we're faced with a lot of different types of property owners and property representatives. And some of them have demands, or they show concerns and things like that. So if you're not prepared, you know that phrase, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So when you guys go and ask for permissions, you need to be prepared. So today I'm going to show you a couple of different forms that I use in particular. Each one is designated for a particular use. And they're created with the benefit of the metal detectorist in mind, but at the same time, it benefits the property owner. Property owners are concerned about risk, so are metal detectorists. So let's get started. I'll show you the very first form that I use, and these have been particularly and they've been created in depth, kind of taken into consideration everything that would come and revolve around these scenarios. But the first one here is the Allocation of Discoveries Agreement, also called ADA. For the property owners that want to permit you to metal detect, but they're concerned about, well, what happens if you find something of great value on the property? Then kind of what happens? What are you going to do when you're standing there and the property owner asks you that? Well, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it before. Well, I have a form for that. And this copy here, as you can see, is for the property owner or owners, if there's two of them, or the property representatives. Property representatives is someone that looks over the property but is not the property owner, but would have the right to sign off for you. So this one here, I'm going to go through it a little bit at a time here. It's not going to be a super long video, but I still encourage you to kind of listen through it. So this collaborative agreement, collaborative means group, so it's an agreement between the both of you. Between the metal detectorists, property owners, home representatives listed below have agreed to the following terms revolving around the potential discoveries dug that may be made within the boundaries of the following property. Now, on this part here, I had to put the word dug because you could wander onto a property and find a Corvette sitting in a field and say, well, I found it. So specifically, it has to be dug. So that covers that aspect. The dates, between the dates of, and then pretty much they have three options here. The first one, a portion of the discoveries, which will be decided upon by the metal detectorists, will be provided to the property representatives or home owners. In addition, all trash items that are deemed as trash, so that are deemed as trash by the metal detectorists, that are recovered, that are not wanted by the property representatives at the time of the metal detectorist departure for the day, will be removed and taken by the metal detectorists. I've repeated a lot of words in there. The reason is because from a legal perspective, every sentence acts as its own individual identity, which means that a lot of the time in these kind of documents, you have to repeat people's names, or in this case, metal detectorists, property representatives, and home owners. So that option A puts the onus into the hands of the metal detectorist. Option B, all discoveries and trash recovered will be provided to the metal detectorist as an offer of compensation for time and equipment costs. That last little bit of option B was put in there because a lot of the time, homeowners don't realize that there is time and there are quite a few equipment costs associated with the hobby. So it almost introduces an area of guilt. If you read that, we're putting in the time, we're putting in the equipment costs. Are you going to take everything away from us that we find? So subconsciously, it provides an area of guilt. And then I have option C, which is other. So the first one you could see is pretty much left up to the metal detectorist to make the decision. The second one introduces a level of guilt, which is actually fully in the metal detectorist's best interest as well. And option C is whatever you guys do. So this is pretty straightforward. This agreement is in effect for the duration of time in days as noted above. And then the option which was agreed upon, A, B, or C. And then down here you've got print and signature for the metal detectorist and the property owners. So as I said, this one here is the property owner's copy. And right underneath this one is the exact same thing for the metal detectorist. So we use this form. It's great. It covers everything. It's important I mean, as I said, you got one chance to get a site. And if you have to introduce a form like this to get a site, you want to have it, you also want the form to kind of work in your favor as well. And that's the way it's created. It covers a lot of things in there, and it's well organized, it's professionally done. So that's the form that I use and the channel uses for people that are concerned about, well, what happens if something really good is found? So that's that. Now, let's get on to the next one. All right, so on to the next form. This is the last one, and this is the Property Utilization and Liability Agreement. Exactly what it says there. It gives you the right to use the property, and it also addresses the liability perspective. Some property owners will say, sure, you can use the property, but what happens if you get hurt? Are you going to sue us? And you're going to go, well, of course not. Can I have that in writing? Of course you can. Grab your form right here, PULA, Property Utilization Liability Agreement. Let's go through this one. This is probably the biggest and most important form you're going to use, and that we use on permissions. And again, the property owners and property representatives get a copy. There's also a duplicate one for the metal detectorists as well. So let's get started with this one. So an agreement to enter and utilize the property, you put the address in there. Applicable on this date, for the sole purpose of engaging in the hobby of metal detecting. So you can use the property, and it specifically states that you're using it for the sole purpose of metal detecting. So that clears that up. And this is the first statement I have here. This signed agreement between all participating metal detectorists and the property representative / homeowners will serve as a release of liability for the property representative / homeowners of any claims put forth against them resulting from any injury obtained by any one of the below noted metal detectorists while they're engaged in their hobby within the boundaries of the above noted property location. So all this comes together. So that releases them from any liability or claims put forth by the metal detectorists while they search the property. So again, that works for the favor of the homeowner, but what about the detectorist? What happens if the guy's dog gets out, or you get shot, or you get run over, or anything like that, right? Well, you just released the property owner from liability. Well, no, we have that covered as well. That's the second paragraph. And if you notice the second word in there, collaboration. This is not just a liability waiver to give the property owner everything they want. You also have to cover yourself. In collaboration with the above noted release of liability agreement, the property representative or homeowner also agrees to take the necessary steps to prevent, avoid, and to not introduce a safety concern that would potentially compromise the safety and well-being of the below noted metal detectorists while they occupy the above mentioned property. Failure to comply will void this agreement. So that works in your favor. Not only does it release them from liability in case you do something or you trip or you walk into a tree or whatever, but at the same time, it also gives them some responsibility to not introduce a hazard that's going to cause a problem for you. The property and homeowners have been educated, so now it's your opportunity to let the homeowner know, and this might happen at the very beginning of the conversation. You've educated the homeowner in regards to what activities that you'll be doing, so what will be taking place by the metal detectorist below, and have agreed to these activities taking place within the boundaries of the above. So they can't renege on anything. So they know what you're going to be doing. They know you're going to be metal detecting. They know you're going to be digging small little holes and filling them back in. So you've educated them, you've released them, and you've given them responsibility as well to uphold this agreement. So it's a collaborative agreement. Again, down here, print, signature, so on. So that's the second one. First one is discoveries if something's found. This one is the right to use the property. So there's one, there's two. And I keep these in the Jeep. Keep quite a few copies. This last form, actually, is, have you ever driven? These are, you know, you could be out driving an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and you stumble upon an absolutely gorgeous property, something that you really, really want to get permission to search, but, you know, it's not somewhere where you can keep coming back to it, you know, every week, driving an hour, 2 hours. So, you know, what do? Leave a business card? The problem with leaving a business card is it doesn't sell yourself. It gives a phone number, it has a couple lines on it. There's nothing that sells yourself on a business card. It's important, I think, with the experience that I have under my belt, is to create a letterhead that sells what you're doing, it sells yourself, and it's your one opportunity to make an impression without physically being there. It's vitally important to create something that really, really sets you apart. Forget the business card. I don't give them a business card. I give them a letterhead. The letterhead is created. It's put in an envelope like that. It is signed here. And it looks like they have mail. So what the envelope does is it forces them, you could say, to open it because there's something inside for them. A business card they look at and they toss it aside. But a letter like this, they're going to open and they're going to look at it. So that's your first step. And I'll show you what I have. You guys can do whatever you want with this. You can copy it or whatever. I really don't care. So this is what I have here. My name is so-and-so. I'm the owner of a YouTube channel. I came to your property. Whether you would be kind enough, and these are little keywords I've thrown in here too. So kind enough kind of challenges them as an individual to be kind. A lot of people want to be kind to people. So whether you would be kind enough to grant me or a few of us permission to metal detect your property for old coins and relics and to create a video for my largely growing metal detecting channel. Right? And then ranked within whatever. If you would be willing to grant me permission, I would be willing to provide you with whatever you wanted from what would be found, which is good, right? Okay, this guy's willing to give me whatever he wants. He just wants the video. I offer complete transparency. That's good. Things like this is going to give you trust. This is going to build the trust between you and someone you've never met. So I offer complete transparency. I'll remove all trash found. Well, that's good. You won't leave a mess. Ultimately leaving your property in the same or in better condition than before I was there. Okay, so he's clean. He removes trash. He'll give me whatever I want. That sounds great. What else? This guy's ethical, respectful towards people and their property. Okay, he's going to come in and respect it. and I have a very good reputation with references. So he's got a good reputation. He has references. He'll give me everything I want. He'll take all the trash with him, and he'll leave the property in better or in the same condition. And he's ethical and respectful. So is there anything bad, really? Is there anything to say, no, forget it, I'm not going to give this guy permission? Absolutely not. This second paragraph has to sell me right off the bat, because if you don't sell yourself immediately, they could lose you after the first paragraph and not even worry about this. So sell yourself right away. And here, a little bit about me. Engaged in this hobby for close to 40 years. Started in England when I was 5. So a little bit personal here as well, right? Open up a little bit. Aside from my regular employment in the field of law enforcement and community safety, I've been enjoying this hobby and bringing the history of our area to the main screen and into people's lives for quite some time. So they know I'm employed. They know I'm a respectful individual. I've been doing this for a long time. They know a little bit how I started. I'm selling myself. They're getting to know me without me being there. And here, the reason I've chosen your property to inquire about metal detecting is because of its history. Public places are extremely limited and offer no real opportunities to search and recover older items like coins and relics. Discovering these types of older items is what I particularly enjoy about this hobby and what our viewers specifically like to see found. Local public parks and grounds do not offer such opportunities. Now, this part right here, I've had people say, well, why my property? Why don't you just go to the park and dig stuff there? So if this person I've never met thinks, why would they want to come here? This pretty much explains the reason why. So there we go. I introduce my channel. I introduce myself. I give them a little bit of information about myself and what I do and the reason why I've come to their property. And that's it. And I've given them options down here, right? If you would be kind enough to either call me, send me a text message, or even email me. So that pretty much sums it up with a little bit of a closing there. I have an area for a signature, which is important. It personalizes the letterhead. I don't want to just put my name in there, right? I just want to sign it to make it personal. So now they have a selling point here. My channel, everything about me, I'm selling myself with a signature in an envelope. That carries a lot more value, and you guys can see that, than a simple business card. I do have a business card, but with that being said, I mean, I could drop it in here as well, but why, right? So anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I know it's been a little bit of a drawn out process, and I've done a lot of talking, but this is a video I wanted to do for quite some time on the forums that we use. I have been asked by various people over the years about forums, and I really haven't presented anything or done anything about it. So I've decided to do something at this point because it's the brand new year and we're getting started and we're all eager to get out. So if you guys want any copies of these, I have no problem sharing. This is what we do in this community, is share amongst each other. What you do in your area has nothing to do with what I do in my area, as long as I'm not driving to your area and getting permissions. But with that being said, I have no issue sharing these forums and sending them to you guys. So you guys can, if you want to tweet them, you can tweet them, but be very careful how you tweet them. Everything here is pretty much covered just the way it is. So anyway, thank you for joining me on another video. This year, 2021, these videos, 90% of them you're going to be seeing in 2022. And the videos this year are pretty much going to be a rundown of 2020. We're about a year ahead of time. So please subscribe, like, comment. Any questions, you guys please reach out and send us an email or touch base with us on Facebook or in one of our videos. I cover all the comments and emails and that personally. That's something I will always do. And whatever you guys need, I'm willing to help you out.